right, gentlemen, been over the rules with you both. You're professionals. I expect you to conduct yourself as such. Touch gloves. Good luck.
Eddie Hernandez Sr., the third man in the ring. This was scheduled for 8 rounds in the super flyweight division. Scrappy Ramirez, 14-1, 9 stoppages. Josue Morales, the veteran from Houston, there he is, 33, 18-5. Best way to say it, have gloves, will travel, Donito Donaire.
Hey, opportunity for guys like Ramirez.
Scrappy Ramirez was trying to knock on that door one day, fighting for a world title. He's a guy that he's been boastful the last couple of years. Lex, you've been on a lot of shows with him, and Scrappy talks it, and he'll bark. And he suffered a loss a couple of years ago, stepping up against the Costa Rican, and he got the lock, went back. And this is a guy who started boxing late in his career. In his life, he was actually 20 years old when he walked into Wild Card, proclaiming, "I'll fight anybody." And well, here you go. Now he's 29 as a pro.
It's very impressive when you start that late and you can build your way up to become into the world title contender. Yeah, you said as you mentioned, he fell short last year, but he's been getting better and better every fight coming forward.
One thing that we see here is the southpaw, Zurdo, and then of course Scrappy being orthodox. And sometimes these guys can bump headbutts, bump heads because they're going for attacks. They can attack at the same time and might end up bumping head. And in my last fight, that's what happened. And things like that can happen with the southpaw and orthodox.
The lead foot always gets in the way. The right foot and the lead left foot from the orthodox always gets in the way, and that always causes friction.
And I think what I believe is Scrappy throwing that jab, and that's how he's able to land those shots just to start off with things. Yeah. But don't get me wrong, Morales he's gonna fight back. That's the kind of fighter that he is.
Yeah, 34-year-old veteran Morales got called this week. Normally these guys will be fighting at 115. Morales got called earlier this week as Scrappy's original opponent fell out, so they agreed to fight at 119. Heavy for both of them, but the show goes on, and that's one of the things. You don't want to lose an opportunity to fight, especially for Scrappy, who mentioned Alexis last year. He lost to David Jimenez from Costa Rica, and then he bounced back with a win over Ephraim Bowie, also from Houston. So this is Scrappy's first fight this year. And Nonito, when we were talking Morales, he said, "Yeah, I watched that fight." He's like, "He's nothing special." Like, he's saying that about Scrappy.
Yeah, I mean, you got a guy like Morales who's been there with everybody.
And there's Eddie Hernandez letting you know, keep it up.
Earlier, he just bumped head a little bit. But that's what you can expect with guys who are going for the attack.
Scrappy throwing the nice right hand to the body, try to slow Morales down.
Morales up against the ropes. Not a good
spot
for him.
That jab that he is posing is setting up those right hands for Scrappy with the body and the head going up and down.
He's keeping him in the end of his punches.
That's right.
Trying to measure with that jab and then explode with the right hand to the body to the head.
Lorana Bell lets us know it's the final seconds of the opening round. 11 fights total at 5 o'clock. The Zone pay-per-view is when it gets going with Kid Austin against Tevin Farmer. Of course, the main event tonight, Jake Paul against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Mentioned Scrappy had a late start. He was a high school football player, was a running back. He said, "I was so small, people had trouble tackling me." At Bernstein High School in Los Angeles. He's always had the competitive spirit. Grew up in South Central Los Angeles.
I like what Scrappy is doing right now from the very beginning. The way he's feinting here and there, he's going up and down, and then he's posting with that jab to set up the backhand. But I like the way he started this round, which was to use feints and to move up and down.
Another thing I like by Scrappy, he's keeping his left foot outside the right foot of the southpaw in Morales, which also keeps you from using your right hand over and over.
Eddie Hernandez warning him about hitting behind the head. Lex, you would know this perfectly, as being the southpaw that you are, what Morales is going through right now.
Yeah, you always got to keep that lead foot outside of the orthodox fighter. So you want to circle to his right. That's what orthodox fighters aren't used to. They're not used to their southpaw fighters going to the right of them.
Good body work from Scrappy. That left hook to the side of Morales.
Morales, one thing that Morales is or should do is throw that straight right down the middle, because sometimes Scrappy is coming in with the jab, but he opens himself right down the middle. And if Morales throws that straight as Scrappy is posting with the jab, I believe that right hand will lead. The straight will land for Zurdo. Just like that.
Couple combinations from Zurdo Morales. And of course, Zurdo Ramirez still to come tonight in the co-main.
That's that left hand you're talking about, Donaire.
Yes. So that's it. If he uses it like a jab, because of the way Scrappy is posting himself and positioning himself, that right hand or the straight left will always land in Scrappy. Just like that. Instead of going overhand, just go right down the middle, which will land for Scrappy. Or will land on Scrappy. But that was a good uppercut for Scrappy right there.
Nice body work, too, from Morales.
Yeah, Morales got called this week. He's not intimidated at all. Like, Nonito, when we were talking to him, we asked him a couple of times, like, really? You're not impressed with Scrappy? He's like, just a guy. Nothing really.
He's been there with everybody, and that's
Yeah.
why. You know, one thing Scrappy should do is shift off. Every time he throws that straight, shift to the left and throw that uppercut or the hook, and he will get away from being in the zone of getting hit.
From a counter left hand by Morales. I think he's staying right in front of him,
Yes.
kind of admiring his combinations a little too much.
Right, and sometimes we get those, you know, we get those little tiny mistakes that can cost us sometimes.
And that's when you go back and your trainer for you, Hector Lopez, will tell you, what are you doing while you're admiring? Nonito,
he'll-
your wife will let you know all about it.
Oh yeah, I gotta listen.
Don't
rip us a new
admire the
one.
work. Our first fight. Still got Victor Morales and Rene Alvarado coming up next. Third round. Scrappy's all about boxing. He's dedicated himself, watches it, trains with different people to try to pick something up when he's not in camp. And he brought in Gael Cabrera, a Golden Boy prospect from Obregon, who was a hard hitter. And you know him, Alexis.
I know very well. He's my teammate right there, and he's a prospect coming up. You know, he's going to do great things in the future.
Yeah, and he fights at 122. And Scrappy said, I brought him in because I like the kid's work ethic and how hard he hits. Used him as a sparring partner.
I like what Scrappy's doing right now. Feint to the body and went to the top, but he's mixing the body and the head, which can confuse your opponent. And he's fighting at a distance, stepping out, coming back in, stepping out, and not getting hit, as previous to the other previous rounds where he was getting it. And like you said, Alexis, he was just admiring his work.
Scrappy is so involved in boxing now that his girlfriend is a fighter. She's from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, home of the Calgary Surge, where our good friend Caleb Canales is coaching a basketball team up there. And when your life is boxing, you go home, it's boxing. Nonito, I bring that up because that's you.
That's it. I love what I do, you know, and that's something that is different from just doing other things. You have to dedicate your life, your mind, your spirit, your soul into boxing if you want to get to the top.
It's whatever you put in, it's whatever you're going to get out of it.
100%.
It's not every day you can share a mic right next to one of my idols in Nonito Donaire.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
That's one of the cool things. That's why I told Nonito, let's go in the back, talk to these fighters. And, you know, Rene Alvarado saw you, told you, hey, we're going to see Rene later on against Victor Morales. He told you, like, you're a legend in Nicaragua, man. They love Nonito out there.
I just fight. That's all I do is fight.
As long as you keep doing that. And Zurdo Morales is the one who also fights. He's not backing down from Scrappy at all.
Although Scrappy is taking the tempo right now, he's controlling the fight, but because he's positioning himself in a way that he's not getting countered, you know, and, well, he just got countered there a little bit, but things like that can happen a lot, you know, but he's been trying to press the fight and trying to get away from getting countered.
Scrappy gets off a couple combinations, steps to the sides, or he gets countered sometimes by Morales. But Morales is showing no fear whatsoever because, as we mentioned earlier, he's been in there with some of the greats. Bam Rodriguez, Yorkis Gamboa. He's been with some tough opposition.
And that's what he said, you know, it's just another guy.
It's just another day in the office.
Yeah, pretty much.
Scrappy has him against the ropes, trying to unload, but no combinations landing flush. Final seconds of round number 3, and that's what we are talking about. As Scrappy's putting on a battle with Zurdo Morales. Round number 4. Zurdo Morales, interesting start to his career. Back in 2013, he debuted in Houston. He had a draw. then he had a win, then he lost his next two, then a win, then a loss, then a draw. All that was in 3-year span. Eventually turned some things around. He's always been the opponent that gets called last minute. These kind of guys you got to respect, but you can't give them too much respect in the ring.
Well, you always want to respect your opponent, but never inside that ring. That's just the Warriors' mentality, the fighter's mentality. You know, the more that you give respect to somebody, the less that you will perform. You go out there, respect them outside the ring, but inside that ring, that's your enemy.
Yeah, the fight against Bam Rodriguez, Lex, was back in 2018 on the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury card at then called Staples Center when they both got up off the deck.
Yeah, very entertaining fight with Bam Rodriguez, who's one of the smaller pound-for-pound goats right now.
Dude, that guy's a monster now, isn't he?
Monster.
Maybe something Nonito might see one day.
Maybe, sometimes.
You said you're not going anywhere after that win in Argentina.
No, I love boxing, man. This is the most entertaining. I look forward to a lot of things. Right now, Scrappy is getting more aggressive.
Yeah.
I think he kind of stunned him with that right hand to the body shot moments ago.
Yeah, he's been digging to that body since the opening round has Scrappy Ramirez.
And those are the punches that takes toll on fighters. Little by little by little by little, you're just hitting those gas tank, and you're depleting it.
Like he just
over
winked
and
at
over.
you. He's just winking at you right now to Scrappy. He's feeling confident about his ability right now.
He's having lots of fun in there.
You know, Scrappy has a big personality. He loves fighting, man. You know, and he's doing really well with setting things up and throwing combinations too. But then coming down to the body, going to the top, which is a very that was a good counter for
Zurdo's countering nice.
From Morales.
Morales is very sneaky. He's throwing those check right hooks, those lead left uppercuts that catches Scrappy sometimes, but Scrappy's the one that's doing the most offensive work.
Yeah, you were mentioning that earlier, Nonito, how Morales can get in there with that counter, and he's doing it this round.
Yeah, it's just all timing, just like that. Use it. You know, the more that he uses it, the less likely it's gonna land, because Scrappy is very scrappy when it comes down to fighting. You know, he understands fighting. So if he gets hit with it, he's gonna think, oh well, why am I getting hit with this? So he's gonna do something different.
Body shots, an uppercut from Scrappy gets through. Final seconds of round number 4. John Scrappy Ramirez against Josue Morales. Opening up the broadcast. Of course, the main event, Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. That'll be on DAZN pay-per-view later on tonight. Round number 5, scheduled for 8. Got the Duran, Nonito Donaire, and Alexis Rocho with you. Victor Morales and Rene Alvarado coming up next.
I like what Scrappy's making those adjustments. He's not coming in straight at him with his head on the line. He's moving his head now left to the right, dipping in his sides to not get caught by with that left hand. Blocked it momentarily right now.
Yeah, and he's having his hands up where he's defensively sound. You know, he's being defensively responsible and going back into top and bottom and shifting off to the left side to get out of that zone of getting hit. You know, which is very good advice coming from the corner. You got Morales right here, and he's throwing combinations as well. You know, this guy, he's still alive. A good shift, that's what I'm talking about with Scrappy.
Yeah.
He's adjusting really well and then shifting off and cutting off the ring and pressing.
This is what you want to see, right? You want to start stepping on the gas pedal, especially against an opponent that showed up this week at a different weight class. They're both fighting heavier, but you want to see Scrappy start separating himself.
Absolutely, Beto. I'd love to see that by Scrappy. You know, first couple rounds are kind of the feel rounds. See how the pop is, the timing is, his arm, his reach. But now he's making the adjustments of he wants to come and finish his guy that he's making look effortlessly right now.
And his last fight against Ephraim Bowie in December, he won unanimous decision, 97-93. That was a personal one. Those two had a little history, some bad blood between them. Here was just work.
Again, I like the feint coming from Scrappy and then going to the body and then going to the top. But of course, you know, you can't count Morales out. He's one of those guys that just is not going to sit down, you know, just because he gets hit with something.
No, not at all. Duarte, his last fight was in Veracruz, Mexico. He got a second round stoppage. Just went down to Mexico, get a win, get back on the winning side. Before that, he had a draw, then he lost to a young Ari Bonilla.
Morales is coming in and still fighting, but that was a beautiful shot coming from Scrappy with the body shot. But Morales is still live and still he's still there.
Very game.
Very, very game.
Second time Eddie Hernandez telling him to keep the shots above the trunks.
That's what happens when you're a body puncher. You always dig it onto the body. One of those punches are going to hit on the belt line, kind of scrape from there and kind of go downwards a little bit.
That's what Scrappy was pointing at, like his trunks are riding high.
I like the step back coming from Scrappy in this round as well. Scrappy coming up, but here Morales throwing combinations. And Scrappy presses, you know.
Very sneaky with those combinations too. Little uppercuts, little left hands that sneak in the guard.
6 rounds scheduled for 8.
Scrappy coming in with feints, which I really like, you know, and then coming in left and right lateral movements, which confuses his opponent. But Morales is just waiting and timing to get something in the middle and then throwing up combination in between.
5 o'clock, DAZN pay-per-view is what you're going to need to see Floyd Schofield against Tevin Farmer, Avius Griffin against Julian Rodriguez, Raul Curiel, Victor Rodriguez, Zurdo Ramirez, Juniel Dorticos, and of course the main event, Jake Paul Chavez Jr. Watching the prelims right now, 6 of them for you here on DAZN. Good left from Zurdo. At what point do you, if you're Scrappy's corner, hell yeah, we need some combinations. We need that flurry. We need some of that.
Well, it all comes down to how his opponent is coming in. You know, Scrappy tried to throw those feints, which enables him to throw combination. But right now, Scrappy is just throwing in 1 punches at a time. And if you want the combination, I believe that it goes after the jabs and the feint to set up a good counter.
Good counter right hand by Scrappy.
Very, 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 just a little bit more. And I think
missed him by a hairline.
Yes.
Most of Scrappy's 9 stoppages were early in his career as you're building up a young fighter with a very limited amateur background. As he stepped up in competition, it's been harder to stop an opponent. That's just natural. You have a fighter like Morales, who our friend Steve Kidd would say, giving you that professional resistance. Right, guy just tough as nails. Like, he's not dangerous at all, but he's not going anywhere.
Very game. He just stands right in front of you, taking the punishment. Once you think you got him or you've hurt him, comes right back with a combination of his own.
Alexis, I've done most of your fights as a professional, and you've had those where you're looking at a guy like, dude, how much more are you going to take from me?
You're hurting your hands on his head. I mean, you're still wondering, how is this guy even up still?
Exactly. You know, some guys can take punch, man, and then sometimes it just takes timing and set up to take guys like Morales or tough guys. You know, you just got to set them up.
Yeah, the 115-pound division where Scrappy contends, I mean, you have the monster, right? You have Nakatani. You guys have guys who are just from 115 to 118 to 122. There's like power. We'll see if Scrappy's going to have that kind of power. It doesn't look like it, but he will work you down.
Well, again, a lot of times you can put all the power in the world, but if people or your opponent sees it, you know, he's most likely to take it. It's punches that you don't see is the one that's dangerous.
Good flurry right at the bell. Morales didn't like it. Felt like got one in after.
Well, mothers always are, you know.
I mean, we saw Pacquiao's mom.
Right.
And we saw how she was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nice combinations. Scrappy throwing a bunch of punches, combinations, punches and bunches.
Scrappy definitely needs to throw those combinations, but shifting off and getting out of the line after each combinations or each punches that he released to be defensively responsible.
I feel like he's doing a great job as the rounds been going on. First couple rounds, like I mentioned, he was staying staying right in front of him, but now he's stepping to the side,
Yes.
stepping back, giving the lateral movement, giving different angles.
And he's moving. He's punching up and down, and you got to give it up to Morales as well. He's just there too. He's like, I'm gonna trying to counter you and trying to time you and stuff like that. But Scrappy is getting better and better as the round progresses.
Yeah, he's controlling this fight. Never been in any kind of danger. And now he's starting to sit down on his punches a bit. Here in the 7th round, scheduled for 8.
Good straight left coming from Zurdo.
Scrappy fighting at, well, both these guys agreed to fight at 119. This is the heaviest he's ever fought at. How much of a difference is that, Nonito and Alexis, where you're fighting at a weight class that's a couple pounds heavier than where you normally contend at, but how different is that for you?
For little guys like us, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot for us, man. So to do that, a
Good uppercut, yeah.
Good uppercut. But to do that, it just shows a lot of respect for both guys. But mainly, it's testing the water as well.
Do you feel slower, or what is it specifically?
For me, it's more of they can take punches better, and and they're tougher.
I have no comment to that because I feel like I've been fighting at 147 since birth. I've been fighting my whole career, my whole amateur career at 147.
That's true. You've been 147 your entire career. That's rare.
And amateurs too.
Amateurs too, huh?
Once I hit 13, just stopped growing.
That's incredible, man. Just to be able to just stay there,
Yeah.
Well, he was also 200 and something pounds when he was 12 years old.
Oh, I bet they're gonna throw me out just like that
And
on pay-per-view.
because that's
On air.
that's what boxing's done for you. So you know what the fighters go through for the weight cuts.
Yeah, they're never easy. A weight cut to my weight class is never easy. So there you could could easily speak on that. That's the worst week of your life probably.
Well, that's what Scrappy was saying. He was getting ready for 115, then they told him 119. Okay, I can eat more, but I got to be smart how I eat those extra 4 pounds. Good round for Scrappy here.
He's just scrapping.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what Scrappy's doing right now. He's just scrapping. He's getting caught too because Morales is throwing combination back.
Scrappy's doing a nice job though of keeping his hands up every time after he gives not an advantage, but he gives a little not respect, I would say too, but just every time Morales kind of tees off on him, he keeps his hands very high up, but he just ate a little short left uppercut right now.
Going to the 8th and final. 8th and final round. Eddie Hernandez Sr. lets us know, the referee. So I think my very untrained eye, Scrappy's winning this fight.
I believe so.
But it's also, how do you close her, right? You want to make fans want to see you again.
Well, right now he's trying to sit down on big shots and throwing combinations as well.
Oh.
I think Scrappy's won pretty much every fight. It's been a shutout, but yeah, this is the round where you really know your opponent doesn't have anything to offer. He throws his little sneaky combinations, but it's nothing to hurt you. I think this is where you really want to unload and make a statement.
I believe that. One thing, though, is to understand that your opponent is going to throw after your punch. So you have, or for Scrappy, is to move his head just a little bit slightly so that he can counter those shots, knowing that it's coming for him.
The back tattoo that he has says, "I chose this life." He got that a few years ago. But the journey that he's on.
Good uppercut, body uppercut. Same hand.
Got a very limited amateur background, so he's learning on the job in his 16th pro fight. And, after that loss, as he said, he humbled himself and had to realize you can't call out the big names unless you get through these other guys. Still a work in progress.
And again, Scrappy just need to step either back or to the side after punching because he just, a lot of the time, he just sits there. Good counter from Morales and countering back coming from Scrappy as well.
Huh. Good quality rounds for Scrappy Ramirez.
Good quality rounds. This gets a tough veteran who's going to stay in there and not just take punches, but also throw a lot of punches back.
Speaking of tough veterans, Rene Alvarado coming up next. trying for the upset against Victor Morales, who's 20-0-1 and just re-signed a Golden Boy this week.
And this guy's supposed to be fighting in 2 weeks.
This guy, Zurdo Morales,
man.
is scheduled to fight in 2 weeks.
And more than likely, he probably will fight again in 2 weeks.
Yep, he's taking on a guy named Connor Goad, who's 7-3-1. That'll be in Houston at the event center.
He's throwing punches still, still not afraid of what Scrappy can have offered, and he's still punching back. Scrappy's trying to sit down more in those shots.
Yeah, Scrappy closing the show very nicely here in the 8th and final round.
Oh yeah.
This is what you want to see. You want to put your
There you go.
put the gas to the pedal right now and throw some combinations
Oh,
just like
good
that.
hook from
left
Scrappy.
hook. Good left hook from Scrappy. Good counter.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 full rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for the official decision. Judge David Hartman sees the contest 79-73, while judges Pan Yahashida and Judge Tiffany Clinton see the contest 80-72, declaring your winner by unanimous decision, John Scrappy Ramirez.
Win number 15 for Scrappy Ramirez with his trainer Julian Chua.